What up, everybody? Johnny Ward here, bringing you another episode of the Nerdyverse of Madness. And once again, I'm just going to be kind of winging it. This will be the second last episode before I take a break, unless for some reason baby comes before the induction date of the 8th. So let's get right into it.
Interest in nerddom is at an all-time high. Where once we hid in our parents' basements, everyone is stepping out into the light and embracing fandoms with a newfound vigor. One man hopes to gather and speak with them all. This is the place where all fans can come and discuss the things they love, the things they hate, and maybe, just maybe, discover something new to devote all their time to. Welcome to the Nerd Podcast to rule them all. Prepare to fall into the Nerdyverse of Madness.
So in this episode, I'm just going to kind of update you guys with the fandom stuff that's been going on in my life as of late. And I do want to say that I got a lot of great feedback from last week's episode, the Star Wars horror one, and I almost did a second episode about Star Wars horror because my mind has been non-stop thinking about that since I made it, and I've been on a huge Star Wars tip. That's kind of where all my focus is going these days. Now, a couple weeks ago, the trailer for The Acolyte dropped, and that's what really kind of spurred this phase right now. I have been eagerly anticipating this show since they announced it, and when I saw the trailer, I just got super, super excited. I am so grateful that we're going to be able to see some cinematic content that takes place out of the Skywalker era, like the core 9 films timeline, and bringing it back a little bit. Now, unfortunately, I haven't really dove into as much as the High Republic content as I would like, and by some of it I mean none of it. However, after the trailer, I went to the library, I grabbed quite a few comics, and I've been reading up on those. Drengir are super sick. And I also had, I think I mentioned in a voice memo Monday, I also had an episode, or rather a book from the High Republic that's been sitting on my shelf that I haven't read at all. I started reading it. I'm a few chapters in. I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a lot of trouble keeping track of all the characters. This one is the last book of Phase 1. It is Midnight Horizon. And I do like it, though. I'm not giving up on it. I am starting to get the characters all straight in my head. And I think part of it, because I do read a lot of Star Wars books, and I think part of it is that, I mean, I don't think it's the first ever, but it's definitely the first era of Star Wars content that I've read where there isn't at least one fan favorite character or character that I'm familiar with. I mean, Yoda's obviously there, but I haven't really seen much of him. And with fan fiction, I mean, I know a lot of writers who consider people who write it lazy because they're not making their own creations or whatever, but I do think from a reader perspective, having a lot of these characters that have been established in other mediums makes it a little easier for the imagination to go wild. And that sounds horrible because there's tons of original content for the imagination to work on that involves existing Star Wars characters, obviously. But I don't know. It's neither here nor there. I'm enjoying the book and I'm going to finish it. I also started Light of the Jedi because I reached out to my followers on Threads and it was highly suggested that I start there. It was the first book in the first phase of the High Republic, so it really kind of establishes the timeline, the characters, the Jedi Order, and what they're doing. I haven't listened to it as much because the vehicle I'm driving at the moment doesn't have Bluetooth, so it's been a little hard for me, but I do enjoy a lot of Charles Soule's work, so it will be exciting for me to read something written by him that isn't in the comics, or rather, that isn't a comic. But needless to say, I am super excited for The Acolyte. It's about 100 years, give or take, before The Phantom Menace, and we did all see a lightsaber in the a red lightsaber in the trailer. I speculated a bit, and I'm pretty sure that it's either going to be Darth Plagueis or an unknown apprentice, because Plagueis is round. Like, he's definitely alive and practicing the Sith at the dark side at this time. Palpatine isn't going to be born for another 50 years, give or take. But in Legends canon, Plagueis was a moon, or a mun, however you want to pronounce it. And, I mean, he's not necessarily going to be that, but it was George Lucas's suggestion that he was one, so they would I imagine they would keep it. And also in Legends canon, they had a lifespan of over 100 years, so it all fits timeline for sure. I would love to see him because we don't have any canon information on him other than his mention in Revenge of the Sith. I know the internet's going wild and saying it's breaking canon because Ki-Adi-Mundi said the Sith have been extinct for millennia. Just because they see a red lightsaber doesn't mean that any of them fucking survive. I think that they will all die. I also have another theory that maybe it is just a Force vision that is symbolic of what's to come the prequel trilogy. We'll see. It's going to be really good. I'm super, super excited for this one. Also, my son and I caught up on Star Wars Visions, the anime series. There's 2 seasons of it. We had got about 6 episodes in, and we were enjoying it. I just think we kind of fell off, and I kind of forgot about it. But because I'm on a huge Star Wars tip, we caught up, and oh my god, some of them are really good, particularly that second season. Like, really, really, really great stories and artwork, and I highly recommend it for anyone looking to get some different Star Wars content that they don't have a lot of time to just dive into, like, say, Clone Wars or Rebels or Resistance or something like that. In the video game world, I am playing Tales of Arise. Never played any of the Tales games. I never heard of this game at all. I just saw it on Game Pass and I downloaded it. And I was surprised to see that it is like a fan favorite. A lot of people consider this like one of the greatest JRPGs of all time. I wouldn't say that quite yet, but I am having a good time. I haven't fell into a video game quite like this in a really, really long time. The story, the art, the combat, the world, it is world building, character driven story at the finest quality. I mean, I'm not playing games as much as I normally would to like really get into it, but I'm chipping away. I've made it into the second part of the story, and I'm thoroughly enjoying myself, and I think I'm definitely going to check out some of the other ones. I also downloaded Chrono Trigger on Steam, and I really am thinking that I'm going to do a Twitch stream of my playthrough through Chrono Trigger and then go right into Chrono Cross, because I have the remaster on Xbox and I'm really wanting to play it, but I think I'd rather share it with at least a part of my community, and I think it would be fun to go from game directly in one game directly into another game that is connected, albeit not a direct sequel. In the horror world, I finally finished Richard Lehman's The Stake. It took me a really long time to finish it, not based on the quality of the story. I just got a little distracted, and I was actually kind of reading some other stuff at the same time. I also, in that time, finished Clown Hunt by Judith Sonnet, because I got a Kindle for my birthday and free subscription to Kindle Unlimited. Both of them were really good. Richard Lehman's story was fantastic. The last, I guess, like the epilogue was kind of really, but other than that, I think his storytelling is fantastic. Clown Hunt was also really, really, really good, and those reviews should be dropping. I have been focused on Star Wars, like I said, but I have been chipping away at Duncan Ralston's Puzzle House. He wrote Womb, which anyone who has any kind of knowledge of the extreme horror community has heard of. That novella. Caused a bit of a stir, and it is extremely popular, and that was actually my first foray into extreme horror. Puzzle House is really good. Like, I have to look more into it. I don't know how much earlier he wrote Womb. I do know Puzzle House is rather one of his more recent ones, and his writing style has really leveled up. I mean, to be fair, I'm only a couple of chapters in, so maybe it just falls apart near the end. But I don't think so. He starts off really strong, and I think he's going to maintain this level. It is really, really good. If you're looking for any like really fucked up extreme horror reads, definitely check out Duncan Ralston. I'm actually going to, after the baby's done, I'm going to reach out to him and see if I can get him on the podcast for an interview. He's Canadian, lives in Toronto, really approachable guy. Had a few conversations back and forth with him on Facebook, and like with Judith, Sonnet, I didn't want to interview her after only reading like one novella, so I read a couple of her works before I invited her on. So I'm going to do the same with Duncan. I'm going to read Puzzle House, and if I like it as much as I like it now all the way through, I'm going to move into Ghostland, because apparently that trilogy is really phenomenal. But I would like to get him in for an interview, absolutely. Horror, I feel like I haven't watched any horror movies, but I do feel like I saw a trailer or something for one I was really excited for. I don't know, it's escaping me. Oh, but I did also start watching season 3 of Scream. I enjoyed the first 2 seasons quite a bit. This one isn't connected at all, but they went with the original Ghostface mask. I mean, it is an MTV show or a CW show or one of those teenier shows, so it's not Scream movie caliber, but the first 2 seasons were really good. I'm hoping I enjoy this even like half as much, but my expectations are really low as always, so I probably will end up enjoying it a little bit. Well, that's all I got for today, but I am going to close out with a segment that I really enjoy, and I forgot to include in last week's episode. A segment I like to call a little known highlight. And today I am going to talk about Ultra 7X. I love kaiju content. Godzilla, the Super Sentai series, which inspired Power Rangers, it's vastly superior to Power Rangers, despite my love for Power Rangers. The series that really got me into it, that I dove into, was Johnny Sacco and his giant robot. It's based on a manga, or there's a manga also after, which I haven't read. This series is old. It is cheesy, and it is just fantastic. And I also love Ultraman. I haven't watched nearly as many of the series as I wish I had, but there are a few that I've gone through, and I want to talk about Ultra 7X. Now, a lot of people argue whether Ultraman, the original one, which is known as Ultraman Jack, or the second series, Ultra 7, are better. I prefer Ultra 7. I thought it was a lot more exciting, despite my love for the series. But they made Ultra 7X, which is kind of a pseudo spin-off. I mean, all the Ultraman movies, or shows rather, are kind of connected, but a lot of them also stand alone. And Ultra 7X was the first series made exclusively for adults. It came out in 2007, and it takes place in a dystopian future where war has been eliminated and there hasn't been any kind of violence like that for a really long time. Aliens come to Earth trying to take over the planet, as they do, and the government organization, I think it's the DSEU or something like that, they give a man with amnesia the Ultra 7 power to defend the Earth. Like all kaiju films and stuff, it's got its cheese, but this one it's gritty, it's cyberpunky, it's a little more adult, not like super violent or anything, but it's just got a really good vibe to it. And I know it's not as loved by, I feel like I remember reading that it's got a bit of an anti-fan base, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you're looking for some kaiju content that's a little dark and a little less kiddie, I highly suggest it. And it's only 12 episodes long. Makes it really easy to consume. The episodes are, I think, only a half an hour, maybe a little more, but it's really, really easy. Probably, really easy to get through, but probably not as easy to find. But I'm sure it could even be on YouTube. But yeah, if you like kaiju content, check it out. If you've never gotten into kaiju content, check it out. It's not a good basis for the Ultraman series as a whole, or rather the franchise as a whole, but it's definitely worth checking out. I had a lot of fun with it. All right, well, that is it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Always give me feedback. I still don't think anyone has written in the Q&A section, so if you're listening to this on Spotify, answer the questions in the show notes or on the episode body. I want to see how that works. So this is what you got. Probably one more before the baby comes, and then I'm taking a break. We'll see. I might have a couple of feed swap options coming up to show you some other shows that I really like that are kind of in the same space. I'm not getting as many messages back, but we'll see what I can do. And thank you guys so much for listening. You know the drill. Like, subscribe if you hadn't. You can follow me on all my socials. They're all at the top. Go to the nerdyverseofmadness.ca, which I've been kind of not posting on blog-wise because I'm actually going to be moving my website over to a different host. I'm on WordPress right now, and it's not doing what I want it to do. So that's kind of why I've got it on hold. But I do have posts that are coming. I just don't want to post them on WordPress and then have to manually transfer them over to the new host site. So I appreciate your patience on that. You can also catch me on Threads. I've been super active there. Like the space, love the community. A lot of people like to argue, but it's really good, like I said on my last episode. Anyways, that's it for today. Thank you guys so much. Till next time, peace.
That is all for today, but what kind of discussions will the one and only Johnny Ward get himself into next time? Will he discover a new collection to spend all his money on, or something to read for the next year and get depressed when it's done? Find out next time on the Nerdyverse of Madness.